well together, but not so well with the rest of them. And as I was saying before, Gen.G actually does go for the flex with Sett into the bottom side, as we both alluded to. They saved that counter pick for the mid lane. As you mentioned, not exactly a counter pick up against the Zoe, but still, it's BDD on LeBlanc. LeBlanc, extremely powerful. Right now, we've seen a lot of bans towards it today, but this is going to be the first time today that LeBlanc is making her way onto the Rift.
And, okay, I've thought it through. I'm going to give the draft edge over to Gen.G. There's just so much mobility and repositioning on the side of Gen.G. And with the Zoe and the Jayce being off theme from the Sylas, Kalista, and Taric, things just get really wonky. And the way that I'm picturing a lot of mid and late game team fights is that there's too much disruption on the side of Gen.G, too much repositioning, makes it really difficult for the enemy to even do anything against it. And LeBlanc is actually going to scale here in a weird way because she has so many targets that she can pop. Obviously, Taric does make things a little bit confusing, but there's not going to be any point in the game where it becomes like, oh yeah, LeBlanc stops being effective at this point, because everyone is a viable target for her.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I really love that B5 LeBlanc pick, and that's part of the power of flex picks. It's part of the reason why we see Sett picked early, because he can be flexed in this manner. By the way, shout out to BDD. Congratulations, 300 games here in the LCK. Already a nice career under his belt, but I have to argue this might be his most impressive time, as he's just working so well together on this Gen.G team. I can't stop raving about it. It's really awesome to watch, and we'll have to wait and see how he can do on the LeBlanc here, if he's going to bring LS to, what would it be, 13 and 13? Or 14 and 14? 14.
Here we go.
So you're 13 and 13 so far for draft predictions about seeing the draft and who is going to win. And we'll see if that goes up to 14. You can see here, Omnistone is going to be the selection for Sett.
Omnistone Sett, we saw this yesterday. I believe it was Iroh.
Yeah.
Ended up taking it as well. So once you do get the boots, you get access to the Predator as well. And Sett support doesn't have a ton of keystones. He's not always trading straight up. And I suppose that when your AD carry is also ideally looking to scale and you're not going to be utilizing anything like Aftershock, etc., then I suppose it's better than taking Grasp or Guardian or something like that, but it still strikes me as a little bit peculiar, although he does get a lot of value from that tree. So it's not like Inspiration is something to scoff at, but definitely a bit surprising. Comet still hasn't been able to be procced. Jayce versus Akali, you'll have to pay attention to that lane up in top. Akali doesn't really use her energy all that much up in this matchup anyway, so the nerfs don't really influence so much, but Jayce did get buffed, and Jayce used to be one of the champions that was very popular against Akali.
We've seen a lot of lanes in the archives of LCK where it's just super one-sided lanes up against Akali as the Jayce. Clid is going to come up here once again and support Rascal. This is not the first time we've seen this either. Going to go ahead for that scanner, take away that ward. Now he's just going to sidle his way on over towards the Raptors. So just giving a little bit of vision support. It's a nice little trade here with the Electrocute proc. Will go play a BDD. The flash on in, and they're just going for the kill here onto Nuclear with the Ignite ticking. And even if they don't get the kill, a big trade win going the way of Gen.G.
Yeah, and that's really big value. Sett has the Hextech flash available as well, so he'll be able to use that later on. Nuclear just in a really rough spot here. This is his first pick on the Kalista in the LCK. We pay attention to the junglers as well. Jarvan trying to make something happen. And unlike
9-0 on Jarvan, by the way.
Yeah, Clid 9-0 overall.
This is this season's stats, by the way.
And he's coming down here looking to make something happen. Hex Flash, nice face break.
Oh man, Hex Flash is just so good on the support set. You see, he's just gonna stroll up past the minions. Has no stun, no dazzle available. They dive on in, and just like that, he makes it look so easy. Even on vision, they're able to get that very simple dive off.
And it's just really good. Jarvan able to path down to bottom. Now, much like, or a little bit different than game number 1, Jarvan will want more of an economy this time around because the laners don't have the ability to stand on their own like in game 1. But as long as he can get the ball rolling or offset a lot of the pressure that can be present in some of the lanes, it's going to be super good. And Jarvan does have value in the later stages against the Zoe, against the Jayce. Comes down here, Ruler ends up picking up the first kill. That's exactly who you wanted on to get the ball rolling for the Kaisa, trying to accelerate towards your evolutions, getting the ball rolling. As meanwhile, up in top lane, Rascal not really doing that bad of a job. If he ends up getting all of this CS, he's only going to be down 10. And Jayce lanes are always measured by how close you are to Jayce, not necessarily how much CS did you miss.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen this lane. I feel like we're going back to early last year, but Rascal's doing a great job so far of cleaning up all the CS that he can, even under so much pressure. And so really got to hand it to him so far. Of course, Clid has been up there multiple times. Even Life this time around comes up, scans out for wards, puts down a control ward actually. And they're supporting him in not just ganks, but just in presence that makes Nuguri back off just a bit.
Well, Nuguri does have to be a little careful. You never want to fall behind on Jayce. As Rascal finishing up the minion wave, Nuguri might not have to teleport. He might just elect to run back. Although Rascal staying inside the lane, teleport is available. If in case they wanted to use it bot lane or something, I don't know. There was a lot of pausing and then the camera zoomed in. So Hex Drinker, first item on the Jayce, does give the magic resistance, which has insane amounts of value against not just the Akali, but also the LeBlanc. And even the Jarvan, because he ends up getting the Cinder Hulk, which deals the magic damage. Clid just gonna solo the Infernal Dragon, and that is a beautiful dragon for their team composition. You have so many champions that utilize dual scaling. Kaisa, obviously, gets a lot of value out of Infernal. Akali as well.
Yeah, and I love the way that Clid mixes up his game based on the game state. It's not always let's camp the top side. It's depending on exactly what he's going to be going up against. Game 1 looks entirely different from Game 2 Clid. He's really trying to make waves, but if he can't find it in lanes, he's going to go for a very early dragon take. As you can see, a bit of a trade here. Rascal hopping back into the Shroud, and now going in. That's a huge burst damage. Barrel, though, is going to be able to get away. You can see just what that Sett support is able to set up for his AD carry.
Yeah, meanwhile, in top lane, Canyon trying to respond in kind to the pressure that was present in bot lane. Canyon trying to just do the golems. Rascal comes back up into top lane, is going to have the Shroud available again. He's going to try to clear out this minion wave. This is 2 turret plates going over to Jayce. Ends up taking a turret shot. And honestly, bot lane, as my stream just died. Am I still with you, Valdez?
You're here. We can hear you, or at least I can hear you.
Trapped on the ship.
Is this still down?
It's still down for me, Valdez.
Oh boy. Well,
I'm back.
Okay,
Hello.
we're back. Can we hear you? I can hear you.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay. Well, Clid.
Clid is flagging away.
Yeah. Okay. You're with us. Looks like your sync is fine. The fun in games of the remote broadcast is trying to punish BDD. It does not happen. And he just hops away. LSU okay over there?
I am fine. I am here. Thank you for looking out for me, Valdez.
Yeah, just making sure.
As Rascal just trying to sustain again up in top lane. Gen.G, they're ahead in the gold department. A lot of that obviously stemming down from bot lane. And as if it wasn't already bad enough, Cole also picked up on the Kaisa. Just going to get more and more ahead. Jayce is doing about as expected up here in top lane. You see Clid coming in now to maybe try to offset the pressure. By Rascal's movements, Nuguri should know something is up. Sylas trying to barrel up the top lane.
Absolutely, you can see he's coming in and the knockup is going to happen. Nuguri doesn't flash away from the flag and drag. He had flash available, but I suppose he just didn't expect Clid to be so on point. Either way, it does happen. We should see if he steals away the Jarvan ultimate. No, not going to go for it. But he is still around here against Rascal. Clid hanging in there. He's going to steal away Akali's just in case there would be any opportunity, but it does not come to fruition.
And I think the reason that Nuguri doesn't flash away there is because at that proximity, let's say that he does flash away, Jarvan can chain Cataclysm, and then at that point Jayce is still just locked inside and would end up going down, but Nuguri probably not feeling super good right now after all of that pressure was just alleviated. He was doing so good in the lane up until that point. Akali only down about 23 CS. Bot lane finding a lot of success for Ruler and Life, as LeBlanc still has yet to really show her fangs this game. Does have a CS lead here against ShowMaker. Has the Ignite. Lost Chapter. Merc Treads is interesting. Definitely more defensive purchase here.
Yeah, it's not something you see all the time, but I suppose just wants to be extremely mobile in this case. We've seen Faker grab those on this champion at the same time, so I don't mind it. As Shelly is going to come on down and take down this turret, we'll give Nuguri a bunch of gold. Canyon's still around. Rascal, nice footwork there as Canyon going to use that ultimate of Akali's, but not going to amount to much.
바로 걸게. 아 위치 보이면 돼.
Take a look at the replay here.
용량? 나 용량 하면 하자. 점화 1번. 다 잡았어. 나이스. 철 체크.
They asked for a spell check at the very end. And that was pretty much it. And so now, with the top turret going down, that's basically just free farm for Akali. As every single time, this is all that's going to happen now. Jayce is going to go up to top lane, he's going to shove the wave in, Akali's going to go up to it, and then Jayce can't overextend because he has to respect the Jarvan. He can't do all that much. Now, on this instance, he might be able to get the golems. Gen.G rotate down to the Cloud Dragon. They're probably looking to just pick this up really fast, and if you're Gen.G, what you want to roll right now is Ocean. Ideally, that way you can really just stay on top of them and brawl endlessly.
See that the Drake is taken down here. And yeah, I mean that is going to go the way of pushing into the mid lane here is DAMWON, looking to get as much chip damage as possible. Should be able to pick off one turret plate if you go to all of them, but now they are trying to punish them. The big engage from Life, as Nuguri is going to flash away. Flag and drag to get away from that bubble, as the poke is real for the side of DAMWON.
And, well, BDD just gonna do a trade here with ShowMaker. But this game is much slower than anything else that we've experienced so far tonight. Mountain coming up in 4 minutes. Now, they do have champions that build resistances. And it isn't like DAMWON doesn't have bursty champions. They absolutely do. But not as ideal as Ocean. Canyon trying to steal away this red buff.
They didn't even know Canyon was there. They were going for the guy up in the top side. Shuriken will come in and lock him down. Canyon, I suppose, gets away with the red buff after all of the shenanigans. Really close on the trade there. He's going to pop back one more auto. Might have done it. Looks like maybe it was two there towards the end. Barrel comes in with a heal to make it a bit closer.
And what a close encounter, honestly. BDD has the blue buff still, not going to be able to get that last turret plate before the turret plates do end up falling, so Zoe going to end up recalling. Call is almost complete by Ruler, so that'll be a nice little pickup as Nuclear does secure the red buff via the Rend on the Kalista. Pretty hard to win against that. As Cinderhole completed on J4, 2.5 minutes until Mountain Dragon comes up. Kaisa has completed her call. Take another look at this replay, and Life just did not see what was going on. He Hex Tech flashes over the wall, Clid comes up, flag and drag, knocking up Nuguri, and he just doesn't have anywhere to go. Canyon just says, see you later. As we head back into Live, and there's not much really going on here.
Trying to start up a fight here. They bait him into it with the TPs coming in. The Ren's not going to be enough damage for Nuclear, and now Rascal's in a really awkward spot. The exhaust is there. The TPs come in from the side of DAMWON, and now ShowMaker up on the top side taking a ton of damage. They should be able to catch up to him here, I'd imagine, but now with a bunch of the other members of DAMWON Gaming coming on up, looks like he's going to get away unscathed. As does Rascal, by the way. He's able to hop away from that one.
And DAMWON are going to reward themselves with the bottom tier 1 turret. They're going to have to be careful, though, on the reset timing. With Mountain coming up in a minute and a half, we'll have to pay attention to that, what they end up doing for about the next 45 seconds or so. BDD crashing in another mid-wave. It is a cannon, so Canyon or ShowMaker should be able to get there in time and get the entirety of the wave. BDD gonna recall into Luden's Echo, does end up picking it up. Can Akali get to Gunblade before this Mountain Drake? I don't think so, but Rascal should be pretty close. Does have 2 assists. 1 minute until that Mountain comes up. Seekers must be fully stacked. Jayce is going into lethality at this point.
Clid, you gotta be careful. That Jayce, at this point in time, he's got a lot of burst damage, especially with the extra Dirk that he has picked up. And down 2 levels, so Clid eats a bunch of damage, is going to go for a recall. And yeah, we're kind of just waiting for this Mountain Drake to spawn. About 40 seconds left until that does come up here. Gold score pretty even at this point in time.
Dark Harvest stack actually available for Life. It's really important when you're playing Omnistone to try to get as many Dark Harvest stacks as you can. There's actually a Reddit thread that really goes into detail on what Dark Harvest does for all of the runes, amplifying all of their effectiveness. And so it's sort of like this own little mini-game when you have Omnistone that you really want to try to chase after. So this is the Mountain Dragon fight. It's really big. If Gen.G get this, they're threatening a 23.5 minute Mountain Soul, which will just spell lights out for DAMWON.
They're on it right now. As you can see, DAMWON, they zone away BDD, but now he's got a really interesting angle. Even if he's seen, that is massive damage. ShowMaker trying to come in from behind here, but Rascal zoning him out with a bit of damage. They're going to let the Drake reset as Kaisa took an immense amount of damage. That time just barely missing on the Shock Blast. Ren's getting close, and it is going to go to the Sylas, actually. So nice smite comes down here from Canyon. They pick that one up, as now they're on the chase, but I think Gen.G at this point should probably just disengage. Sleep Trouble Bubble coming on in, and that is probably a dead Jarvan, looking to trade this one back, but with the Taric ultimate, Canyon is going to survive, and now Sett just left out to dry, as the double kill will go the way of Canyon. Follow up here onto Rascal, not quite going to land, as in goes BDD, and he nearly dies on the backside, just looking for an extra pick onto Canyon.
Yeah, and that is a really big swing in DAMWON's favor here. As they get the Mountain Dragon, they're going to be able to raise the mid-tier 1. And the thing that's so surprising about this is they were obviously posturing for a fight. They didn't have the Gunblade complete, nor the Guinsu's Rageblade on the Kaisa. Really big item completions missing. The other thing is that LeBlanc, she has Luden's Echo, doesn't have Sword Pen Boots or an Oblivion Orb or anything of that. So depending on who she's going for, doesn't really deal all that much damage. You can see Gen.G really don't actually want to fight here because they're waiting on major key item completions. And BDD tries to go in, do some damage onto Canyon, ends up coming up empty. And so now DAMWON, they're ahead about 1,500 gold with the Mountain Dragon, which is really valuable given that there is assassins on the side of Gen.G.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just going to provide just that bit of extra resistance against Akali, LeBlanc, so much burst damage, backline potential. It can keep a lot of people alive in the thick of it. Gen.G, you can see they're going to let Shirley go. I'm not sure if they had full vision of that, but they're playing extremely weak on the north side with Rascal up there, just saying, you handle it, we're going to pressure bot. You know, we're not putting any focus up there at all. Whereas DAMWON is doing the exact opposite. They're going to drop down Shirley and say, hey, you're not going to protect up in the top side, let's try to take this objective.
And the top turret is going to end up going down. They're also going to crash this into the top tier 3. Not going to be able to raise the turret, however. It's going to be a close call. And the game isn't really in either party's favor right now. It's in a very even state. That was a really nice key series of events for DAMWON that occurred at a really nice point in the game where Akali's still waiting for a major item completion, as was the Kaisa. But the next team fight is going to be a lot more telling, especially because from this point forward, Sylas is going to conduct himself essentially as the same champion. Has all of his recipe components, and that's where the real utility that he's getting comes from. So there's not a whole lot that's changing for him, nor the Jayce. He's still on the serrated Dirk. He's going to have another lethality item, but it doesn't really change how he conducts himself at all.
Second chain goes down on the barrel. He forces the exhaust just like that. There was no vision up towards the north side for the blue team. That does mean that we do have the Mountain Tree coming up here in a minute and a half, so that exhaust should be down for that objective. And just a little win going towards BDD, who, you know, you talked about this in the draft. It was kind of hard to see exactly who was going to win this one, especially after the really off-theme Zoe and Jayce when it originally looked good for DAMWON in the draft. But the amount of mobility and the way you can kind of flex with the champions that Gen.G has, kind of push them over the edge. And that's a little bit of what BDD was trying to do there, as he goes in again, and he gets flexed on. Maybe trying to flex a little bit too hard, and he just got popped like a balloon.
Well, that is a very unfortunate death right now. As
about the worst time.
Yeah. Wave in mid means that DAMWON, they're going to raise the mid tier 2, and they're pushing on. LeBlanc is actually up in about 10 seconds. And Zoe going for the Banshee's Veil, second item. See what ends up happening. 15 seconds until the Mountain Dragon. And realistically, Gen.G, if they give this one up, I think that might be enough for DAMWON to really just close home the game, because this is going to start invalidating the second item completion. We're talking about 12% amp to armor and MR. That's not super big because obviously no one's getting any sort of magic resistance yet, but Zoe will get the Banshee's Veil. Natural base stats as well getting amplified. Double assassin on the side of Gen.G with no pen on either of them. It's just so much effective HP being given over to DAMWON.
LeBlanc 때려.
LeBlanc.
아, 실줄게 이거 민영 건드리면 안 돼.
And now, speaking of ace,
Oh,
we're going
man.
for a Baroon. Baroon 5 is back, as they're just going to go all in onto this objective, and the smite will go the way of Clid. But can they get out of this afterwards is the question. Rascal trying to get out of here, and he will, but Canyon on the chase is going to poke down life, as he is going to bite the dust. You see the Baron recall on the top side. Looks like it got Kaisa to safety, and somehow they get in and only get out with 2 deaths.
Oh man. Well, Baron does go the way of Gen.G, and that helps them a lot in the gold department. They only lost 2 members, but now all the waves are going to be pretty favorable for them. They have a lot of gold and XP coming into them. That's also a lot of XP picked up. Everyone was inside of that Baron pit.
Yeah.
And this is really big. Look at the level discrepancy on Gen.G compared to DAMWON. Obviously, the top laners are even, but
Rascal.
1 level in mid,
Look at him
1
go
level in
for
bot.
it.
Yeah, Rascal really wants to try to kill the Jayce. And honestly, the Hex Drinker eventually going to be turned into the Maw of Malmortius. I'm actually surprised he hasn't done it already. Given that you keep getting Mountain Dragons, just getting as much MR as possible is really nice. As we take a look at it, really nice smite by Clid. Akali goes over the wall, uses the Shroud. R2 into the safety of red. Nuguri misfires. And eventually life ended up going down.
Yeah, but you could see the way they split up was really the impressive part, because the Akali went one way, went south, and distracted the Jayce. So Jayce could have actually potentially stopped it back onto a Kaisa or LeBlanc if he had been there, but distracts the Jayce. The Kaisa goes north, is able to get the Baron recall, and then BDD's on LeBlanc. So, of course, tons of mobility there. Looking for Nuguri here in the brush. Does not pan out, as, yeah, he's been doing that all game long. He's been the real bane of Ruler's existence in this game.
Bane's not in the game, though.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the Bane from the Batman movie.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, the other one.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, yeah, thank you. All right. Well, 2 minutes until Mountain Dragon is going to be coming up here. Rascal, meanwhile, in top lane, just trying to shove in waves. There is still the standing gold on that top tier 1 turret of DAMWON. Void Staff ended up having to be picked up by LeBlanc, and it is a nice item to get the pens, but these Mountain Drakes are really so scary. If DAMWON gets another one, it just keeps adding up, and then threatening Mountain Soul is going to be super insane. Kaisa not even going to probably be able to deal a lot of damage at that point. I mean, Jarvan is tickling the opponent, honestly, at this point, as Tank Jarvan. And Edge of Night was completed on the Jayce. Really does seem like LeBlanc is stuck on 2 items. I'm not really sure how much gold BDD has in his inventory, but DAMWON is in a pretty comfortable lead right now.
You can see he just went back. He picked up a tome and 2 control wards. So the answer was about 550. And it's really not that much gold. It's not a great spot if you are the LeBlanc. 3rd Mountain Drake about to be threatened here for DAMWON. And we talked about this. Every single Mountain Drake is just chipping away. This is not a Cloud Soul. This is real resistances and winning potential going the way of DAMWON. So Gen.G want to have any chance. I think they've got to stop this one, if not the next one. See that they're moving up for it now. The Hex Flash over the wall coming in from life. He's trying to find that engage as Rascal is going to TP in behind here, but DAMWON able to group up as a huge shock blast already into the back line, but some lifesteal gonna be good. Looking for the trade. One-on-one here is Canyon. Rascal will back away as DAMWON move to support their team, as the poke is always going to be good for the side of DAMWON. They're fine to play this game. Nuguri's having a ball. Not to mention that beach ball.
That, yeah. Okay. This is a 3rd Mountain Dragon going the way of DAMWON. And it's the worst possible Drake for Gen.G to try to fight into. If it was 3 Ocean Dragons, Gen.G can still easily win fights, but 18% amp to armor and magic resistance is so painful at this point. Akali has Sork Pen boots. I think she's going to get Oblivion Orb next, but just think about it. It's really scary. You're going to have the Maw of Malmortius completed soon on Jayce. Not sure what Zoe is going to end up picking up next. Hex Drinker picked up on Nuclear. Makes it that much harder for Akali and LeBlanc. So much pressure on Ruler in this game now. He picks up a QSS. He's going to have to go into the AD Kaisa. as there's just way too much magic resistance. Mob Malmortius picked up now by Nuclear.
Just stacking up the resists. They get the items, they get the Drakes, and it feels like Gen.G are going up against a rock here, as the burst damage of Akali and LeBlanc is eventually going to become laughable. The longer this game does come along, the more items that are complete, and the more Drakes that do go down. Not to mention the Mountain Soul, which is just going to add even that much more survivability. And on their side, they also have a nice amount of damage. You could see that the poke, we talked about how it looked off theme in the draft, but they've been able to make it work, at least so far. Gen.G have been looking for hard engages, but DAMWON have been great about their positioning so far in the game.
3 minutes until the Mountain Soul does end up coming up, and things are really looking pretty gray. You can see LeBlanc comes in, the chain did nothing to Nuclear. Clid has to hightail it out of there. And the scary thing is that Taric's ultimate, it's hard for Gen.G to even take a straight-up teamfight at this point. The heals, the shields, everything, it's so problematic. They don't have split push options available. And so much pressure put onto Kaisa. And honestly, Nuguri is... he is shooting bullets at Gen.G.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a cannon. It's like a literal cannon just bonking the backline every single time. You can see BDD being a real nuisance on a ShowMaker now, though, as Life, he's going to be the one that distracts the rest of DAMWON and leaves ShowMaker a bit out to dry, but again, he's able to get the redemption down. Nuguri is on the chase here on the Rascal. Clid is just going to go on a one-way ticket into that backline. Sett's ultimate is going to be stolen here as Canyon gets into the backline and is just looking to take down more and more members. Ruler is also going to be going down here in the end as everybody else is just backing.
And it looks like this is going to be the end of the game, I think. They have a cannon minion. It's only an Akali and a LeBlanc, the two champions who the entire enemy team is itemized to perfectly handle any of their attempts. I mean, LeBlanc did no damage. Yeah,
they're just trying to clear out the wave, though, as BDD is actually going to kill ShowMaker, and Rascal gets in and gets out and buys time for Life to make it up. They need Jarvan, as he is going to make his way in. DAMWON really trying to push the issue here. I'm not sure if that's smart, though, as they are going up against both of these turrets. The stopwatch is huge, but the damage from Nuguri is going to be enough to take down that Akali. And in the end, DAMWON, they don't get any Nexus turrets, but they do run away with a couple more kills.
Yeah, they run away with a lot of kills, and they expended a lot in the past 2 minutes, but they're so far ahead now. Take a look at this team fight. Leroy Jenkins right into DAMWON, as I have absolutely no thought process for what could have been going through Clid. Yeah, exactly. Leroy Jenkins the fourth right there with the flag and drag. Ruler failing his flash, not able to kill Canyon before he ends up getting the massive heal. Replay here as well, as this was Battle of Helm's Deep here.
That last turret shot actually killed ShowMaker. And had there been a Zoe to help out and keep it 5 members, I think they would have had a better chance of slowly chipping away as they were trying to.
Well, Nuguri right at the very end, knocking Akali into Tomorrow. As DAMWON, this is it. It's the Mountain Soul. It is a 4-stack Mountain Dragon. Look at Kalista. I mean, she's a tank. She has, I think, 103 armor and 106 magic resistance. So no one deals any damage. She has lifesteal. She has shields coming in from Taric. There's no way for Gen.G to win.
Yeah, I mean...
itemized in a very peculiar manner. LeBlanc had the Merc Treads super early on, no Sork 10 boot. It came time to get the third dragon, and it happened to be a mountain, which is the worst possible Drake
Well, they're gonna give it their all here in one last desperate attempt. They're up against a Kalista that's on the Baron. I think the Baron steal is off the table. They have to try to go for the actual kills here. As you can see, Life is chasing, but Rascal is just gonna die. Into the backline goes the Kaisa, and the steal on the Baron at the same time. Can Gen.G actually win the fight? You see Ruler with so much room, and he's gonna get a triple kill already, and the kill is gonna go down onto the Jayce, and somehow, with the quadra kill, somehow Gen.G have turned this game around.
Wait, they have a minion wave!
And they have a minion wave.
ShowMaker!
They're gonna try to end the game, absolutely.
No,
Pentakill!
no.
Pentakill!
Wait!
Oh man.
Bellis.
They're ending the game, LS, you better be a believer. Oh, I don't know though, there's 15 seconds on the Kalista. They're gonna go for it though. Yeah, they're absolutely going for it. They're not going to waste any time. They have the one minion. They're going to tank it up. And absolutely, Gen.G should be winning this game. The turret will go down. And down will go the Nexus in the span of 30 seconds. Gen.G have pulled the game back to their favor.